Joe, let's do this real quick. It's almost like a TV game. I'll give you a name of a player, and you just give me a quick, maybe 2 or 3 words about him. Pat Riley.
Pat Riley was the toughest guy that I was ever around in the game of basketball. Nobody breathed on Pat Riley. He had the quickest, short, 4-inch elbow that anybody could have. And Pat was an all-around player. I said at one time during his junior year, when I think he was at his best, because he hurt his back and he played his senior year, he couldn't tie his own shoes. His back was so bad. But his junior year, I said, you give me 5 Pat Rileys and nobody's going to beat me. He was that kind of player.
Dan Issel.
Dan Issel was a player that really developed under the Kentucky system. He was the best at using his body of any big man I've ever been around. He had a great shooting touch, both from outside and knowing how to get to the basket with the ball and protect it. He was a strong rebounder. He was a great competitor and still a leading scorer, all-time scorer, Kentucky basketball.
Kevin Greavy.
Kevin Greavy was a jump shot artist. Quick, great spring in his legs, a great touch, had great quickness, could take the ball to the basket and deliver, and just a wonderful person to be around. Great player, great friend.
Kyle Macy.
Kyle Macy was a coach on the floor. Kyle Macy was the ultimate point guard. Kyle had great shooting touch. His father was a coach in high school. He had developed the fundamentals properly from an early age. He was a surefire free throw shooter. He had great touch. He could control the tempo of the game. He knew when to push it, when to pull it back. He was unselfish with the ball. He made Roby and Phillips inside players by being unselfish with his offense and getting the ball inside, and was just a kid. I'll tell you how he was. When he came in, transferred from Purdue, he had to sit out, redshirt a year. He checked out film, and when we started practice, he could run all of our offense.
Wow.
He had his first year there, when he was sitting out, the first practice, he knew all our offense and could run it.
That's amazing.
He had checked the films. He'd put himself through the plays from his position on his own until he had learned our complete offense.
Yeah, 2 quick ones. Jimmy Dan Connor.
Jimmy Dan was the strength of our ball club. Jimmy Dan was mature. He was a fighter. He was courageous. He was a kid that when no one else was fired, he'd take over a game. And just a terrific, mature ball player and young man.
Last one, Sam Bowie.
Sam Bowie, in my estimation, would have been one of the greatest centers of all time. He finished his sophomore year as a great player and then had that stress fracture that would not heal. Took him 2 years to get back into the game. He was never more than about 70% after that. When he went to the pros, he broke the other leg twice. And he had a defect there in his structure that caused those breakdowns. But Sam was a player that ran the floor better than anybody I've ever seen. He could take the lob on the dead run. He could pull up and shoot the jumper. He was a great high post passer. He had a variety of moves in the low post, but was just a student of the game. I think had he not had those injuries, he'd been one of the greatest centers of all time.
Joe, in 1990, the athletic department decides that amongst they needed to show you more how much they appreciated what you did for Kentucky basketball, so they retired your jersey. That had to be a special moment for you.
Well, to hang in the rafters of Rupp Arena with the fabulous five, with the great players that have been in this program, and with Coach Rupp and Kaywood Ledford, and be honored that way was absolutely the greatest thing could ever happen to you. And that was a special moment.
Joe, did you ever have a chance or an offer or interest in coaching in the NBA?
Never had any interest or ever pursued it. The travel, the being away from your family. I had 3 children, and I had enough pressure on my wife being a college coach that I never was enamored with the prospects of being a pro coach. And I liked working with the young players, and I liked taking players from the high school level and introducing them to the college game. And I love the setting, the academic setting, to raise my children in that setting, involved with college activities and having the opportunity for my kids to matriculate at the university. All of them graduated there, and that was a big factor in staying put, so to put it.
2 more questions, Joe. What do you miss the most about coaching?
Well, I guess I retired early, and the reason I did that, George, was I wanted to experience life as other people experience it. Great pressures at Kentucky, great responsibilities. It was on your mind 24/7, 52 weeks a year. The demands on you for public appearances, for supports of charities, for all the things that you were called on to do, just dominated your life. And I kind of wanted to experience life as other people lived it. And when I first got out of coaching, I was hired by a local bank, and I really enjoyed that pace for latter years of my life. And I've had some other experiences in other areas that I've really enjoyed, and I'm glad that I did what I did when I did it. But having the opportunity to do for 30 years what you enjoy doing and doing it where you want to do it is a special privilege in life.
Joe, let's conclude with this. How does Joe Hall want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered more than anything by my children as a good father, as a good husband, and one that stayed above the hustle and bustle of seeking a fortune, and just being a good person in society and contributing to all the opportunities I've had to contribute to all the causes I've been involved in. And but I don't really care if I'm remembered or not, but only for my children. It's just like getting the Hall of Fame. I'm more happy for my children and the legacy I leave them than for what I'm getting myself.
Joe, on behalf of basketball fans, players, coaches, all of us who love the game, I want to thank you for what you contributed to the game. You were always a class human being, not only a great coach, but a class human being. I want to thank you for that. Sometimes we forget to tell people those things.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you.